And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, here we are again, another day committed to picking a fight with the mainstream media and always providing you the timely truth centered around real estate, credit, finance, estate plans, tax plans, so much more. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show. Our number one goals are to educate, entertain, enlighten, but most importantly, we want to educate and engage so we can help you win.
The only thing I'm addicted to right now is winning.
Save our hotline number in your phone. At some point, you're going to need it. 813-670-7372.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
813-670-7372. That's our Consumer Advocate hotline. We want to help you win in any marketplace, help you avoid a lot of the commission-based advice that's so prevalent out there, and just be that consumer advocate to connect you with all of our 80-plus show partners. We've got CPAs, financial advisors, attorneys, all types of home services. Lots of ways that we can help you here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. It's Intelligent Talk Radio. I've got some intelligent folks here in studio with me today. Back in studio, the Tin Man, Fred Muth, Tampa Screens and Aluminum.
The Tin Man, not Danny DeVito, Tampa Screens.
Tampa Screens.
We're here.
Tampa Screens and Aluminum, building that beautiful in-between space, not under air. It's outside. You know, it's got the porch, the patio, the screen rooms, beautiful, beautiful parts of real estate.
I say that out of all honesty, not because I sell the product.
Yes.
I mean, you've got to be able to enjoy your lanai.
That's right.
If you can pronounce it.
That's right.
Lanai.
Lanny?
Lenny. Thank
Okay.
you. Yeah.
Mary Surnicki also back in studio. Suncoast Roofing, welcome back.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
It's great to see you.
Yeah, we opened a few more locations, so I'm excited to let everyone know about those.
Nice. Okay. And if you're used to listening to Mr. Chuck Peterson, he's up in the panhandle helping out some of those folks trying to recover from Hurricane Michael, was it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Out in Panama City and, St. Joe's and Tallahassee area.
Yeah.
So lots of work still out there. So we're hoping the people get back to their lives.
Yeah. Interesting. We got Larry Harbolt as well, longtime friend of the show. Larry Harbolt, he's a real estate expert. He's an instructor, and he's got several courses, and he's a coach. Welcome back in.
Hey, thanks for having me.
My pleasure.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for coming in, and
Sure.
we're gonna dive into some advanced strategies with real estate with Larry. He's got years of knowledge. How many years of real estate knowledge you got up there in that big brain of yours, Larry?
40 years.
40 years plus. So you've seen almost every type of deal that can be seen. You've seen it.
And I've made about as many mistakes as there are possible
Okay.
through the years. But from that, we learn.
And that's how you learn. That's right. That's how
right.
you grow. You overcome the adversity. You pick yourself up and you get going in the right direction. So great lineup for you today here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. And I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. I want to start with a couple of hot listings I've got here. This is a $3.5 million commercial listing on Clearwater Beach, 207 Coronado Drive, Clearwater Beach. Beautiful property. Now, if you're watching our live stream television show version on WeBeam TV, you're going to notice that you have a convenience store up front. You got apartments in the back. But if you look at the drone photography, there's twin towers there across the street from our beautiful listing. That is the Wyndham Grand. It's right across the street from the Wyndham Grand. $3.5 million property. You've got licensed beer and wine, air rights, 3 apartments, 6 parking lots. Plus, it's just a future development. I want to get Larry's opinion on that property later in the show. Another commercial property that we got is 7424 4th Street North in St. Petersburg. Now, here's another commercial opportunity. One a busy road, corner lot. It's got a flag of a gas station there. I believe that's a BP corner lot. You've got also 3 bays for mechanic work. You got light mechanic work, mini mart, and just a great opportunity. Check out all of our real estate properties at PlatinumMVPRealty.com. And we got a buyer-seller seminar coming up as well. I want to let you know about. Save this date, February 28th, 6 to 8 p.m. RSVP on eventbrite.com or Facebook. And we're going to have an opportunity for you to learn from a panel of experts all you need to know about credit, mortgage, title, inspections, real estate, of course, and more. Mutual of Omaha Mortgage. We got A Snoop Inspection. We got the Snoop Dogg himself, Jay Smith, going to be there. William Crowley, a.k.a. the Credit Magician. We got Aaron Foley. He's going to be a buyer specialist talking about that buyer side of the transaction. And, of course, yours truly going to be talking talking about the listing side, and we're going to help you win, as we say. 100% financing is back. Lots of cool options that you have there. So save that date, February 28th, eventbrite.com. Free event. All you have to do is register. And Bilmar Beach Resort is the official hotel partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. It's the Bilmar Beach Resort over on beautiful Treasure Island, our hotel partner on the beach, filled with fantastic and generous amenities to make your vacation that much more special. The Bilmar Beach Resort has been one of the most sought after destinations in the Tampa, the Treasure Island area for years. Now, whether you're planning a vacation, a staycation, a business trip, a wedding, check out the Bilmar Beach Resort. 2 pools on site. You got Sloppy Joe's restaurant, and you've got a long beach, one of those long beaches. Clyde Smith, the general manager, when he comes on the show, he says, we've got what they call a 2-beer beach. You know what that is, Fred?
I've never drank 2 beers.
Oh, okay.
Maybe 22.
22. Okay, there you go. So 2 beers, taking 2 beers to walk all the way down there, depending on your pace. You know,
depending on your pace.
Yeah, depending on your pace. But great place to go hang out. Let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. Take them up on special offers and incentives just by mentioning that you're a fan of the Consumer Quarterback Show. All right, we're back here in studio. Let's jump right into this great content. We got Fred Muth in the house, the Tin Man. So longtime friend of the program, Fred, and you know, you guys are doing great work over there. You know, we hear nothing but great remarks from all the people that we've talked to from the show about Tampa Screens and Aluminum.
Yeah, it's amazing. The business that I write is typically based on not my sales ability, but you know, the reputation of the company and the reviews. I don't know. The sales ability may have something to do with it.
Now you're a heck of a salesman because you take that consultative approach, man. You encourage questions, and I appreciate that about you.
I love the questions. If they don't ask questions, I'm nervous, to be honest with you, because basically the worst problems begin when a customer does not understand, you know, exactly what's going on. I met with a fellow yesterday, an hour and 15 minutes. He peppered me with questions. All good questions. I love the guy.
Nice.
I'm going to sign him up next week. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, I love questions.
That's the way we work.
They give you, you know, questions give you that underlying reasoning why you're able to, at that point, you know, they're kind of looking at it from all angles. It's like you're sizing up, you know, as a quarterback, you're sizing up a defense. You know, you're running your audibles. You're coming up to the line of scrimmage. You're running these audibles. You're saying, you know, hey, they can do that, and they say, okay, well, it's like a question, right? It's like,
yes, it is.
You know, they're saying, okay, that linebacker is going to come from this side. Let me maybe change this to this run to the left instead of the right. So those questions enable you as a salesperson to meet the needs of the client.
It's amazing how you can always equate your sales ability to sports,
right?
You know, it's sort of like when you're hitting a baseball. You're not going to hit every pitch, but when you hit it, you better knock it out of the park.
Yeah, yeah.
And the same thing.
Yeah, or you get, you know, that 33. If you're batting 300, you're in the Hall of Fame.
Forever.
You know?
Yeah,
so you're going to miss 7 out of your 10, kind of like Larry said in the beginning. You know, you're going to miss 7 out of 10, and you're going to hit those 3, maybe get a line drive, maybe get a, you know, double or a single. But that's what it takes in business, is to be consistent.
Absolutely. By the way, I enjoy being the opening act for Mary and Larry. Oh. You know, that puts you in a tremendous category. I'm just the opening act here.
Yeah, there you go.
Batting lead headliners here, right?
You batting lead off. You know, it kind of, you know, and to use staying with the sports theme, right? You know, baseball, I was always the lead off hitter, and I didn't like it. You know, I didn't mind doing it because I know well, they needed me to get on base, and I did anything I could to get on base. I would lean into a pitch, I'd take it off the shoulder just to get on base. But, you know, I would try to draw a walk. I would do whatever it could. But as the leadoff, great point, you're at a disadvantage because you don't get to see that pitcher. The guy standing in the on deck, he's seeing that pitcher. He's seeing what his sequence of curves is. He's seeing, you know, so then he's kind of getting the timing down. He's seeing him actually throwing a pitch. Yeah. So as a leadoff batter, you do have a little bit of a disadvantage.
For that reason, I understand. Yeah. Back to Tampa Screens. I always like to make the statement that I think they're a very well-oiled machine, so to speak. A lot of good teamwork there. If I make a sale, we have our field man, Virgil. Tremendous. Him and I think alike, which is amazing. And then our office girl, Diana. I don't know if you've met Virgil or Diana. And then, of course, Ricky's typically the layout guy at this point. He does the engineering, the CAD drawings. Yep. Richard's on top of the whole heap.
Richard Mills, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. He you know, pulls. PULs.
Pulse.
Yeah, don't call them that. Don't go.
So when it comes to the dynamic, you got a great team. You go out there. You guys are doing a lot of volume now. Are you having challenges with employees, with suppliers, with demand? What's some of the business challenges that we're seeing?
That's ongoing, never ending.
Yeah. Which one?
All three.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just going to always be a concern. The independent company that pours our slabs, Bill Connor, he constantly is getting hit with increases in concrete material. It's amazing. It doesn't need to go up. It's just supply and demand. You drive around, you see all the subdivisions going, and that for that reason. Yep. So supplies, yes, there's always an issue with that. The material for the aluminum, we can acquire that fairly quick. Mm-hmm. We're not at a disadvantage in that respect. Labor is always a concern. We have good guys, great crews. Okay. However, they're scattered. Okay. They're all over the place. Yeah. And you got to get it all done at one time. Right. In some cases, permitting is still a problem. It's never going to not be a problem as far as I see it. Yeah. It takes entirely too long to get a permit in Hillsborough County and Pasco. City of Tampa, my hat goes off to them. They knock it out real quick. So if they can do it, why can't the others? Yeah, exactly. I'll stop there. Okay. Yeah, we don't want you to get in trouble there. Right. So Fred Muth, Tampa Screens and Aluminum. Check them out. All of our expert contributors at our website, consumerqb.com. You can see links to all of their expert contributors, their contact information, their websites, their phone numbers. Everything is on our website, consumerqb.com. You can also reach out to our hotline as well. But when we come back, more from our expert contributors here in studio, and we have our feel-good story of the day. Dog is adopted after spending 525 days at shelter. Stay with us right here. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, everybody. I'm Forbes Riley, celebrity TV fitness host and creator of The Spin Gym. I'm here today with Brandon Rhymes, and you're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show. Great ways to get happy, healthy, and wealthy.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. Ian Beck.
This is the Cannabis Podcast, powered by TrueLeaf on Radio Influence. It's an inside look and the scientific facts in and around the world of medical cannabis. Now, here is your host, Ian Beckles.
He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show. Giving a shout out to Brothers Easy Moving. The official moving partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show is Brothers Easy Moving, and they strive to be one of the very best Tampa moving companies, and they are the best reviewed as well, including on Google, where they have a 4.6 rating and one of the highest in the Tampa Bay area. They have an A rating from the Better Business Bureau, an A rating on Angie's List, 4.5% rating on Yelp, and they won the Super Service Award in multiple years. Reach out to Gary and his team over at Brothers Easy Moving, the official moving partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. Take them up on special offers and incentives just by mentioning that you're a fan of the Consumer Quarterback Show. And we got a couple of hot listings here in beautiful Tampa Bay. 4212 Thistle Terrace Place in Valrico. This is in the River Hills Country Club. 4 bedrooms, 2 full bath. You have a half bath as well. And it's on a large lot. And this is a gorgeous property, corner property, executive style, split floor plan, solar panels all over the roof. This property has, I think, 27 solar panels. He's producing a net positive of energy for his property. And he also drives a Tesla, so he plugs it in, so he's not filling up his fuel. He's just, Thistle Terrace, beautiful property, $430,000, great opportunity. And right around the corner, 5506 Dallas Way, in that same community, River Hills Country Club, another beautiful property, 4 bedrooms, 3 full bath, $540,000, 3,500 square feet. And it's a one-owner home that is sure to impress. And the home features 3,500 square feet, just a gorgeous property, 4-car garage. And the owner is in construction, so he built the home himself. And so it's a great property. Check out all of our real estate properties at PlatinumMVPRealty.com. Somewhere sunny and 75. All right, so we got Mary Surnicki back in studio. Been a little while since you've been in studio, and we missed you at some of our events, but long time, friends of the program here. Chuck Peterson's on the show from time to time. Suncoast Roofing, what you guys been up to?
Well, we have a lot of growth. So, up in the Panhandle, we're working up there, installing a lot of metal roofs. Down south, Bonita Springs, it's mostly all tile that we're installing.
Wow.
And we moved from our small little location in Tampa. We moved up to Pasco County, where we got a big warehouse.
Nice.
Off of 52 in Chicago there. We have a showroom now. So a lot of growth.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, so you guys are pretty much statewide. There's a couple little pockets you don't really get into, but you did a lot of work with the hurricane. What was it, Matthew, on the other coast?
Yep, our corporate office is in New Smyrna Beach. We have a location in Melbourne. We have the Tampa, the West Coast Operations Center there. We have one in Bonita Springs and one in Tallahassee. And in the spring, we're opening one in Orlando. We've been in that market selling and installing roofs, but now we're going to actually open a store there.
So when it comes to roofing, I mean, you guys have seen and done almost any type of roofing system that there is.
Absolutely.
Everything from shingle to tile. The benefits of aluminum versus shingle. Now, talk about that GAF warranty that you offer.
Well, we are a Master Elite installer for GAF, which only 2% of all roofing contractors are. With that, we have to do special training. Even our superintendents down to our crew leaders have to do a certification, a training with them, so that we're installing the way that the manufacturer is meant for the product to go onto the roof. So with that, we can offer a 50-year golden pledge warranty.
Nice.
And it's non-prorated. So it's a really good selling feature if you were going to sell your home, because if you put that roof on and you have the golden pledge, it's transferable once.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's actually a really good selling feature for a home.
Yeah, that's great. That gives you the opportunity to, create something that's valuable to the home asset itself. And 50 years, that's a long time.
It absolutely is. And like our slogan for our company is, it'll be the last roof you'll ever need.
Yeah.
Depending on weather.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
And in Florida, let's face it, they take a beating. The roofs, the heat, the rain, the changes in temperatures, not so much as up north as far as, the vertical south. But yeah, the systems are great. What else have you seen out there? Is one thing I thought was interesting when you mentioned Bonita Springs and Naples. I'm kind of from that area, Fort Myers area. Do you see different types of roofs that are more prevalent in certain areas and parts of the states?
Absolutely. So down south, a lot of it is all tile. Like the different neighborhoods, the homeowners association, all want the tile. So when when Irma came through, and there was so much damage to a lot of the roofs, there put such a shortage of tile.
Wow.
We can't get the tile quick enough out to the houses. So they're actually having to wait between 1 and 6 months for the material.
Wow.
So it's still backlogged. So it's still something that if you signed with us in March, we might be installing your roof now.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just, and it's, it doesn't matter which distributor we go through, whether it be Boral or Eagle. It's just a problem.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Yeah.
If you just joined us, I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. We're talking with Mary Surnicki, Suncoast Roofing. And let's talk a little bit about your role. What is your role? Are you more chucking those guys in line out there?
So I'm the corporate compliance manager for our company. So my biggest role is I play defense. So I make sure that, that when the guys go out to, sell a roof and, they're doing a warranty and all that kind of stuff, that all of everything, the homeowner knows everything that is entailed in that process, that we're doing major construction to the home. And then if there's a problem or an issue, that's when I might get involved and, try and come up with a solution for everybody involved. Especially
when you're dealing with hurricanes, you've got the insurance companies that are trying to minimize the amount that they're paying out. Can you talk about that dynamic a little bit?
Absolutely. We have two guys that work just with insurance with our company, because the biggest thing, I saw this with Irma, is even in Polk County and stuff, we're going out to the homes and they're like, yeah, well, they write up an estimate and they're giving it maybe $5,200, but really to install that roof, it might be $11,000 because they're not including the nails, the starter strip, everything, the Cobra Ridge Runner, all of the things that you need to install.
Underlayment.
Yeah, absolutely. And, the code from when that roof was installed to now has changed. So we have to upgrade that standard. So we have to just kind of re-educate the, the insurance guys when they're coming out, because these insurance guys are coming from different parts of the country.
Yep.
It's not like your local guy at the Allstate office down the road. It's somebody coming from Wyoming or something.
Wow.
And they're not, familiar with what the building codes are here in Florida.
That's an interesting dynamic. And then that's a great point too. If you got a roof that's 15, 20 years old, now not only do you have to replace the old existing roof, you might have to have more, you got to update it to the certain standards of today, the permitting standards and the regulation.
Absolutely. If it was a 3-tab shingle, now we install all architectural shingles. So there's, and there's a depreciation that they have to kind of, put. And a lot of people were really surprised on what their hurricane deductible was for their homes with these last 2 hurricanes.
What's the average deductible?
You know what? It really depends on the home. I can't even say with an average deductible, but we've had some people that have been paying into different insurance companies for 25 years, never made a claim ever, and they go to, and their deductible is $15,000. Well, it's $13,000 to install the roof.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's
normally 1 to 2%. I think
it is,
on a hurricane.
There is. It's 1 to 2%, but there's something else that you can choose to pay more deductible, to get a lower payment, in the in your payment. And a lot of people, they have to look at their policies.
I think I know what you're talking about. Because we just shopped this too, because there's a new I think it's a newer type policy where what you do is it's let's say you go with the higher deductible that is going to it's a bigger chunk, but they actually allow you to finance that deductible.
Yes.
Have you heard that one?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's pretty cool.
And they do this kind of thing. Well, there hasn't been in the Tampa Bay area, there hasn't been a direct hit from a hurricane in this many, absolutely, this many years. So they use that. They kind of put, say, you might as well go with the highest deductible, because when are you actually going to use it? If you're going to stay in that house 10 years, is it worth it? But it's worth it if their storm comes through. Let me tell you.
It's interesting. I had a business calculus class, one of my favorite classes of all time. You can imagine business calculus, right? So he drew on the screen, on the board in front of us here, where the hurricanes most of the time they come out of the across from Africa. The way that they come from that, and they have this counterclockwise, or what is it, clockwise? Counterclockwise. So they're going counterclockwise, right? So the way that they come is that he basically said, long and short, is that it's least likely to come over the south of Florida and then back into Tampa. It's either going to come across the state, and if it does, chances are it's going to die down as it's making its way across the state. And we saw that with Charlie and some of those back in the day.
Charlie was horrible.
Either hit below us or above us.
Yeah. So that was his point from a calculus, so where would I ever use this calculus, right? Is what a lot of kids think, where would I ever use this when it comes to engineering and making the calculations. But that was a good real life example. And he kind of brought me in when he made that example to me.
And even like if you have a tropical storm, like we get more damage around here in the Tampa Bay area or in St. Pete when there's like a tropical storm comes through, because those roofs that have been on there 15, 20 years, that's when they start to lose, they lose the shingle, their underlayment becomes compromised because wasn't like the peel and stick that we use today.
Peel and stick, yeah, that's right.
It's just that felt paper. So, and that, over time, is a problem.
And that felt paper doesn't have any of the polymers, the gluey type plastics on there that's going to help, minimize some of the leaks or the
it makes
piercings.
it that one membrane,
Yeah, when it's pierced like that. So hey, a lot of knowledge here. Mary Surnicki, Suncoast Roofing. You've heard Chuck Peterson on our show. A lot of information available for you on our website as well. We want you reaching out to them for all your roofing needs, free estimates to give an estimate on a roof.
Absolutely. And solar as well. So we installed the new GAF DecoTech solar system.
Interesting.
Where it goes right onto the decking. So,
very cool. Yeah. All right. So stay with us right here. When we come back, more from our expert contributors in studio. We're coming up to our lightning round as well. More from Fred Muth, Mary Surnicki. And coming up next, Larry Harbolt, real estate investor. He's a coach. He's an expert, teaches courses, written several books. He's an author. Lots of knowledge coming at you here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Plus, our feel-good story. Dog is adopted after spending 525 days at a shelter. Stay with us. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. For more information, go to consumerqb.com.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
This is the Cannabis Podcast, powered by True Leaf on Radio Influence. It's an inside look and the scientific facts in and around the world of medical cannabis. Now, here is your host, Ian Beckles.
He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Shamans, we understand cause we are the tech shamans. Dude, I got this cool thing to show you. Really, man? Yeah, it's far out and technical and stuff. Awesome, yeah. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the tech shamans. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the tech shamans. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the tech shamans. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the tech shamans. Cool.
listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by PlatinumMVPRealty.com. Check out PlatinumMVPRealty.com. Real excited about our move over to Keller Williams Realty as well. We moved our team underneath that Keller Williams umbrella. #1 real estate company in the world. Best training, education, support, technology, lots of cool things that is going to bring more value to our business, what we can deliver to our buyers, sellers, investors out there. We'd love to help you with any of your buying, selling, or investing needs. We got a great team. My wife is a licensed agent now as well, so we've got a team of 10 agents here on the team, and we can help you save time and money when it comes to purchasing or selling your real estate. Check out PlatinumMVPRealty.com. Got a couple of hot listings I want to let you know about here. We got 843 Bayou View Drive in Brandon. This is a 4-bedroom, 2-bath property, lakefront, beautiful lakefront home, gorgeous move-in ready home, sits on Lake Mango, and it's $330,000, just reduced to 2,255 square feet. Great property. We're still waiting on the professional photography to come in if you're checking out our TV show. We've got 1667th Avenue South, 4 bedrooms, 3 bath, $255,000. Another great opportunity. This is a nice entry-level style home, South St. Petersburg, and $255,000. Replaced the roof, got a newer roof on it, and it's a great opportunity here in beautiful Tampa Bay. Another hot real estate property.
Sun is shining, the weather is sweet.
WholeBodyFuel.com is the official meal delivery service of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Convenient, healthy, delivered food directly to your home or office. Chef prepared by Brian Adamo and his team. Kevin and the whole team over there do a great job. They got the world famous protein donuts. Check out WholeBodyFuel.com. Let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. All right, we're here in studio. We've got Larry Harbolt up here now. We're talking to a podcaster. He's an author. He teaches a lot of real estate courses on investing, how to buy. I think one of the biggest things you do, Larry, is you teach people how to buy outside of the normal terms. You talk about buying on terms. You know, hey, what's the needs from the seller? The seller might not want all that money at once because they don't want to pay the taxes on it.
Right.
Yep.
So what I teach is what's known as timeless, because you know the banks and the economy, they control the marketplace.
Mm-hmm.
We run in cycles. What I teach is what they did back in biblical days, and it'll work 1,000 years from now. It's the only constant in the real estate business because it's between you, the buyer, and the seller. Has nothing to do with institutional financing because I pay the seller every month.
I like that.
For the term. And we can come to an agreement on what it is they want and what I want.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, I've got a deal right now that we're negotiating. Kind of remind me of something you would come up with. It was he's offering full list price.
Mm-hmm.
He says I want to do it on a 40-year note.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and I want to paying full list price, 40-year note. He has different options. He could do no money down, or he has a different option where it's a little less money if he has to come out of pocket with money. But it's all about cash flow.
Sure, absolutely, and that is exactly the way we try to buy property.
Mm-hmm.
But we buy income properties that we're going to keep long term.
Right.
Because I love the idea that someone else gets up every day, goes to work to earn money,
mm-hmm.
to give me in the form of rent to pay for my assets.
Yes.
They create your wealth for you.
That's
while
great.
you're sleeping.
That's right.
Where when you buy, fix, and sell, you can make a nice cash flow.
Right.
After the taxes have been paid. But it's never going to create any wealth. The income properties, eventually, when they're paid for, it creates the wealth that you decide you want,
mm-hmm.
and the cash flow that you want to live the lifestyle you want.
Right. But Larry, I've got tenants, toilets, termites. I got to deal with the asset. I don't want to be a landlord. What do you say to that?
Hire management.
Right.
But plant the seeds. You see, I teach people nationwide.
Mm-hmm.
You can't eat ear of sweet corn if you never planted a seed.
Right.
And cultivate it and let it grow.
Mm-hmm.
You have to plant seeds. Buy the income properties.
Mm-hmm.
You may make a little bit of cash flow now, but eventually,
right,
it's going to be paid off. And once it's paid off, you get more cash flow.
That's
but the
right.
point is, you'll never get the cash flow if you don't plant the seed.
Yes.
So plant the seeds now.
So talk about that. Talk about, again, you mentioned earlier 40 years in the business, you know, and now you've written books, you're a podcaster. Talk about what you just mentioned is, if you bought something 40 years ago, that asset now is going to be worth what, 5 times what it was 40 years ago, 2 times on a low end?
Probably.
Right.
But it's still inflated dollars, but it doesn't matter.
Right.
The point is someone else paid for it.
Right.
And they paid for it while I was sleeping. Yeah.
Yep. All you had to do was manage it or not, pay somebody to management. Right. Typically, what you can find somebody to manage between 8 and 10%, 12%, depending on your portfolio, correct?
But that's factored in. Right. You see, I don't base the buying decision on price.
Okay.
When I'm buying an income property, the buying decision is based on what it will rent for each month.
Right.
From that rent, I deduct taxes, insurance, a maintenance factor, a vacancy factor, management if I'm going to hire management, and the monthly cash flow I think that property will produce.
Yep.
From the monthly rent, that will tell me how much I've got to make a payment with left.
Yes.
I can give you full price. I can give you more than full price because the tenants are going to pay for it if you'll take that much per month.
Yeah. If you give me the right terms.
Price or terms.
Price or terms.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be one way or the other. It's just a better way. I was explaining, in the last class I did, every offer you make to a seller has 4 components.
Okay.
It's going to be price. Now, you can adjust the price up or down to get what it is both of you want. You're going to have the term to pay it back. You can do it in 10 years, 20 years, 30, 40, whatever you can come to an agreement with.
Interest only?
You can do interest or no interest.
Yep.
If it's interest, you can raise or lower the interest rate to get what it is you want.
Okay.
And so the payment is the other thing.
Payment. Yep.
You can raise that up or down. Every offer is going to take 3 of those. But when you understand that you can adjust the pieces of every offer, you can create any deal you want that will give you what you want and give the seller what they want.
Yes.
And once you understand that, there's no deal you can't do.
I like it. Now, let me reset here. So we got Larry Harbolt on the Consumer Quarterback Show talking real estate investing, how to buy on terms. Now, one thing people talk about sometimes as well is buying subject to the mortgage.
Yes.
What does that mean?
That means the mortgage is in place on a house, and you're buying it subject to the existing financing. You're going to leave the financing in place.
Yes.
And you're just going to start making the payments. Now, if you do a subject to, you want them to deed you the house.
Okay.
Will they leave the mortgage in their name, the seller? Many people will, and they have because of some personal reason. The point is, the only danger to that, if changing ownership
acceleration clause
accelerates the due on sale clause, you might have to refinance some way.
Right.
Through a private individual or however you do it. But taking it subject to, why get new financing on the whole purchase price when there's an existing loan already there you can use?
Right.
It makes a big difference.
Normally 30, 40, 50% less, depending on how old the asset mortgage is attached to the asset.
And if it's got a decent payment, interest rate, and the seller has equity coming, I can write them a promissory note for their equity and pay them so much a month.
Right.
Whatever the property can afford.
Yes.
Is what I can give. If we can't come to a deal, I still love them. Wish them all the best, but it's got to be good for me and good for them.
I'm glad you said that, because that book I was just mentioning between the break, it was by Chris Voss. It was Never Meet in the Middle, Negotiating as If Your Life Depended on It. He talks a lot about simple stuff, and some of the stuff that we were taught is more academia. He talks about how he debates Harvard instructors, and he beats them because he's using real life with hostage negotiations. Chris Voss, he's a former head FBI negotiator, but he said that exactly. He said, you ever hear somebody say, oh man, I beat them up. I got this awesome deal. I killed that guy in negotiation, right? You never want that, because that's going to, your reputation is going to be, you're never going to do a deal with that guy again. You're never going to deal with that person's friends. So it is a lot about a win-win. And he also mentioned something that's very, elementary as well. We kind of know it, but sometimes we kind of let ourselves slip. He says, you're 31% smarter when you're in a positive mood. You know, just simply being in a positive mood. And you know, without going into too much detail about that book, I enjoyed it and I recommend it to anyone. But it's interesting, you know. So you want to develop that win-win mentality, kind of like Stephen Covey talked about.
Absolutely. Well, I've sat at a few hundred kitchen tables over the last 40 years.
Yep.
And I'll tell you, both parties want to feel like they both won.
That's right.
Or a transaction is not going to happen.
That's right.
It's very simple.
Yes.
You have to give them something they want, but they've got to give you something you want.
Yes. And it is about the feelings. It's about the
Absolutely.
It's about the words that you utilize to evoke those feelings. It's about you understanding and verbalizing that you understand their position.
Right.
And a lot of it's not yes or no answers. It's about open-ended questions.
But you have to ask certain questions.
Yes.
Without the answers to those questions, you cannot negotiate a positive deal.
That's right.
It's impossible.
It boils down to price, term, interest rate, and payment.
That's right.
Again, so you have to ask those questions. You got to find out the underlying reasons why and think win-win, as Stephen Covey said.
That's right.
Stay with us right here. Some more from our expert contributors here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We're coming into our lightning round as well. You're going to hear our top tips, nuggets of advice, parting words of wisdom from our expert contributors, as well as our feel-good story of the day. Dog is adopted after spending 525 days at shelter. Stay with us. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes. Do not touch that dial. I'll come right through the radio and grab your throat.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
This is the Cannabis Podcast, powered by Trulieve on Radio Influence. It's an inside look and the scientific facts in and around the world of medical cannabis. Now, here is your host, Ian Beckles.
He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here. I'm your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by Platinum MVP Realty. We're your #1 resource when it comes to real estate here in the Tampa Bay market. the Real Estate Quarterback Show, aka the Consumer Quarterback Show, on air for almost 6 years now as your consumer advocate. And we are helping people avoid a lot of the commission-based advice, helping you as a consumer advocate and understanding more about these buying decisions, centered around 80 different show partners, CPAs, financial advisors, attorneys, different health experts, all types of experts, lots of home-related services that we can help you with. We want to help you on the real estate side as well. Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. Real excited about the move to Keller Williams. I got a hot property listing here, 9511 Antilles Drive in Seminole. This property is just reduced. The owners are super motivated. Welcome to your new estate-style home. 4 bedrooms, 3 full bath. You also have a half bath there, over a half-acre mature landscape lot. Just a gorgeous opportunity. $580,000 in that beautiful zip code in Seminole, Florida, Pinellas County, 33776. Hot real estate property listing. Check out PlatinumMVPRealty.com. Somewhere sunny and 75. All right, so we have our feel-good story of the day. Every day we're telling you something positive here on our show. Tell me something good. Dog is adopted after spending 525 days at a shelter. So a dog in Ohio has finally found a forever home after spending 525 days at a shelter. Cassie first arrived at the Humane Society of Greater Dayton on August 9th in 2017. And she has been adopted a few times, but has always returned every day for 525 days. She has patiently waited for that perfect person to walk through the doors to pick her, and today was her day. The shelter said in a Facebook post, "Our staff may have shed a few tears saying goodbye, and there may have been a few squeals of excitement, but we're so happy for Cassie and her new family." So feel good story of the day. Yeah. There's the pictures. If you're watching our TV show, you got to tune in so you can see the pictures and all the screenshots that we put up. Sometimes we have our expert contributors add their websites up there, or different shots that are in motion of like before and after jobs. We've seen those before. Connor Keller gets some interesting ones up there, Fred.
Isn't he something?
Yeah, he's got some interesting.
He's a riot. I love, I like doing business with him. I like talking to him. I like doing the show with him. He's a brilliant guy.
He is. He's very knowledgeable. Termite pest control, honeybees, rodent removal. He showed one where he had a Sunbelt rental. He had those rentals up there, and he's taking pigeons out of the church and honeybee thing out the top of the church. Yeah. So, so that's the visual side of our show. You can see all those cool pictures and videos and different aspects of the show there. But let's jump into our lightning round here. We're going to give you some top tips, nuggets of advice, and parting words of wisdom.
The lightning round.
I am so good at lightning rounds.
I majored in lightning.
All right, top tips, nuggets of advice, parting words from Mr. Fred Muth, Tampa Screens and Aluminum.
Well, Larry, my hat goes off to you. I enjoyed the significant, interesting, creative financing ideas that you come up with. It's amazing. Okay, back to Tampa Screens. This is my time, right?
Yeah.
Tampa Screens and Aluminum. I always advise any homeowner who's bidding out any project, it doesn't matter whether it's a screen room, pool, roof, whatever it is, make sure you ask a lot of questions. Mm-hmm. If the questions are redundant, continue to ask them, because the representative should answer the questions honestly. And should welcome the questions. I do. Everybody with our company does.
Yeah.
And it's easier for myself as a representative to have the customer ask the questions. They cover the grounds. That way, on the back end, we hope there's no surprises. There's nothing worse in the construction industry than a surprise on the back end, and it's a very common problem.
That's right. Yeah, it happens more than you think.
Yes, it does.
Those change orders, it hurts. It hurts the budget. It hurts the communication level, satisfaction level of the client.
Satisfaction level of the client is affected more than anything at that point.
Excellent. Mary Surnicki, Suncoast Roofing.
My biggest thing is I would ask everyone to use a licensed contractor. It's so important because sometimes you as the homeowner, you do have those questions and you'll go ahead with something and you really haven't had a concrete answer to it. So make sure that you're understanding the language they're using and what you're actually getting yourself into. And come out and see us at the home show at Tropicana Field. We'll have a booth. You meet some of our better salesmen, and we'd love to do a free estimate for you guys.
Awesome. Yeah. Licensed contractor and the language. I think that's key. Sometimes people just nod yes when they hear certain words because they don't want to feel inferior or whatever that is. But the language sometimes in these different businesses, it's language, and you just have to ask, especially if it's an acronym.
Yeah. I had a homeowner that was very, very intelligent, super smart. He was using words that I didn't know what he was asking. I had to say, Sir, I am sorry. I am just not at the same level as you. I need you to dumb this question down for me.
Yeah.
But you know what? We have to be able to see eye to eye, and the information has to make sense.
And he can appreciate that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
When you mentioned that. All right, Larry Harbolt, top tips, nuggets of advice.
You know, one of the things that I see too many people making a problem, they fall in love with the property.
Mm-hmm.
If you're an investor and you're buying a property to fix and sell or keep as a rental, don't fall in love with it, because you get that fever and you end up making a deal that may not be the best in your interest.
That's right.
But other than that, if you're going to buy a property, know the highest and best use of that property.
Yes.
Is it an income property, one you can fix and sell retail? What is that before you buy?
Yes, AKA your exit strategy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You've got to work with motivated people. I don't mean desperate people, but motivated people that want to sell, that you can work with.
That's right.
They're flexible. And never pay too much, because if you pay too much, there's no recovery from that.
Yes.
And that's what drives too many people out of the business.
That's right.
If you'll follow those rules, you know. And I'd like to make one other point. I've had a lot of people that I do a weekly real estate meeting for over 20 years. I've got a lot of beginners in the real estate investing business. They've asked me to do a one-day class. I'm going to be doing a one-day class here in Tampa.
Nice.
Probably within the next month. I don't have a date set.
Okay.
But if anybody would like to know more about it or contact me, if they would go to larryharbolt@gmail.com, send me an email. I'd be happy to respond.
Yep.
So that I can let you know when it is. It's a one-day. It's a beginner class. It's going to build the foundation for them. It's not going to give them the treetop level. But, you know, I was a builder at one time. You never build a house from the roof down.
That's right.
You build with a solid foundation.
That's
if you're
right.
going to be an investor, you need a solid foundation. That's what this class is.
Yeah, and your website's also larryharbolt.com.
larryharbolt.com.
Yeah,
that's right.
Awesome. Yeah, and I've known Larry for a number of years now, and you know, just lots of knowledge, and he's willing to share that knowledge, and very affordable on his classes and different offerings as well. So yeah, I would say, since we're doing tips here, what I would say, always look at ways that you can improve your skill set. You know, personal development. Always invest in yourself. These days, it's so easy to gain new knowledge or learn. You can look at YouTube. You can do Audible, which we mentioned earlier. That book. I thoroughly enjoy that, and you know, I think a lot of times it's not about your resources, it's about your resourcefulness. You know, a lot of people, they may not have the money, they may not have, but you got time. You know, that's the thing. You've got time on your side. And if you have a job, you know, you get a full-time job, you get off work, you go home, you eat, you know, what are you doing from 7 to 11, right? That's where you can really make some changes in your life. So instead of complaining and being a energy vampire to those around you, you know, invest in your personal development. That's how you're going to be able to grow. And it's easier than ever. We live in the best time to be alive as a human being here on this lovely planet Earth. You know, best time to be alive. You have resources available. You got to be resourceful and learn a new skill set. And as I mentioned, that book, I love that book. He's got some really cool things he talks about in there. You know, traditionally in sales, it's right. You probably all heard this. You want to start with the small yeses, get those confirmation yeses, right? Yeah. The small yes, and you're asking those yeses all the way up until and then you ask for that big yes of do you want to do the deal? You ready to sign the paperwork? You ready? You know, by the way, you don't ever say sign the contract. You say exit or authorize the contract. So he says, no, that's not what you want to do. He says, you always want to go to no first. You want to get to know, because yes, we know now as human beings, that's opening us up. Every time we say yes, we're like, yeah, I say yes, but what are you coming at me? What are you coming next, right? Yes. So you follow that logic. So what he says, he has an interesting story. He met Jack Welch. He went at a book signing at Jack Welch. He's like, you know, this guy's getting asked to speak and go to these different classes. He was teaching a class at somewhere in California, UFC maybe. And he says, you know, so when I got up there, they had me write my name on a piece of paper. They didn't even want Jack to enter, you know, ask me my name to then write my name on a book. He's signing a book for him. He says, Mr. Welsh, he said, would it be ridiculous for me to ask you to speak at my class I'm teaching at UC Berkeley or UCSC? So see what he did there? Instead of making him say yes, which everybody's asking him to say yes, would it be ridiculous for me to ask you to speak at my class in Southern California? So he thought about it. He said he looked at him with a grimace, and he goes, he thought he was going to get upset, or he said he made a joke about how he thought he killed Jack Welch because he looked at him the way he looked at him. But you see that point, like, so he went to no. He wanted to know first, because then now that no was like, wait, that's not normally what they want me to say. Yes, I said no to that because he's the way he framed the question.
Positive no is what it is, right?
It's
Basically,
interesting, yeah.
Well, if they want to enhance their learning skills, have them go to my podcast if you want to be an investor.
Yeah.
I've got like 120 of them up right now. There's a new one every Friday. The Real Deal Real Estate Podcast with Larry Harbolt. It's all education.
Love it. I love it. Yeah, it's all about education. That's right. So, hey, another great show. Fred Muth, Tampa Screens and Aluminum. Mary Surnicki, thanks so much for coming in. Larry Harbolt as well. Always a pleasure. And we want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Pack up some food or clothing. Hand it to that person that you see in need. Be a force for good in the community. Do something kind for one another. Something as simple as donating blood. I actually donated blood yesterday. And I was like, wow, it's been a while since I donated blood. They're like, you better drink a Powerade or some sugar. I was like, I'm fine. I just ate. They said, oh no, you better, so I said, okay, give me the Powerade. The guy next to me passes out. They're like, hey, John, wake up, John. They're slapping him on his face. I'm like, hey, how much blood are y'all taking, man? How much blood are you taking? I said, put me on the little smaller side of how much he gave. But it was only a pint. I'm like, man, there's how many pints of blood do we have? They said, you got about 8 pints in your whole body. And you're taking 1 whole pint. I was like, wow, okay, interesting. All right, Brandon Rhymes signing out here. Check us out online, consumerqb.com. We'll see you next time.
You've been listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show, weekday afternoons at 5 on AM 1380. The Biz.
Are you a real estate agent looking to take your business to the next level and supercharge your marketing? Hi, I'm Brandon Rhymes, owner of Platinum MVP Realty and host of the Real Estate Quarterback Show, syndicated radio and TV show talk program on iHeartRadio, 1025 The Bone, daily 5 o'clock drive time on 1380 The Biz, and our TV show is on WeBeam TV. We're looking for real estate agents that want to join our team and supercharge their marketing utilizing some of our innovative strategies. We utilize the Real Geeks platform, Facebook marketing, internet marketing, and a lot of the traditional methods as well. Postcard mailers mailed for you, postage, signage, business cards, all paid for by the company. Aggressive real estate splits and ways to help you win in any marketplace. We need you to go out, take applications, and work our plethora of leads that we're generating on a daily basis. Reach out by clicking the form below, and we'd love to have a confidential interview with you.
This is the Cannabis Podcast, powered by TrueLeaf on Radio Influence. It's an inside look and the scientific facts in and around the world of medical cannabis. Now, here is your host, Ian Beckles.
He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the Consumer Quarterback.